Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. For the second day in a row, Tasmania's parliament has descended into chaos as political rivalries boil over. Following multiple jabs at the Speaker's controversial bid for a pay rise, Sue Hickey brought the parliament to a stunning standstill as tempers escalated.
A day of unprecedented scenes unfolding in Parliament, kicking off with Labor attacking the Speaker's controversial call for a pay rise.
She also claimed that a chauffeur-driven ministerial limousine is not a luxury.
Labor left to defend this after it was labelled hypocritical.
It's appropriate historically that leaders of parties have these vehicles, but at the end of the day, we're not the ones seeking a 40% pay increase.
You took a full pay rise secretly, quietly, when it was given to you last year. We didn't, but you did.
But it was this question that brought the Parliament to a screeching halt.
Have you instructed the member for Clark to withdraw her submission to the Tasmanian Industrial Commission?
The hypocrisy is galling. I'm ruling that question out of order because the person cannot defend herself.
After Labor tried to force the debate, the Speaker enforced silence on the chamber.
In fact, I might even just reflect on it for 5 minutes.
A debate ultimately voted down, tempers escalating between the parties.
It is a matter for the House to be debating, and the fact that the Premier does not want to answer these questions goes to the fact that he will not stand up and say that it's unacceptable.
You are letting down every person who cast a vote for Labor at the last state election. You did that when you walked away from your pokies policy. You're doing it now. You are lazy and vindictive.
Question time's an opportunity for opposition parties to ask us questions. They had that opportunity but wasted it.
But the opportunity for more political plays remains, with Parliament resuming tomorrow. Michelle Wisby, 7 Tasmania News.
And Premier Will Hodgman has lashed out at the federal government, saying it's taking too long to roll out a redress scheme for survivors of child sexual abuse. The Tasmanian government, churches and other organisations have already signed up for the scheme, which offers compensation to victims. But the Premier says there's been national delays processing applications. Attorney General Elise Archer calling for an explanation from the Commonwealth.
We're very frustrated with any delays because these are people whose lives have been terribly impacted and which have necessitated a national response to provide compensation.
The scheme was a key recommendation of a Royal Commission. A Hobart jury has been shown evidence from an alleged crime scene in day 2 of a trial into the death of a Risdon Vale tattoo artist. Dwayne "Doc" Davies' wife and best friend have been accused of murder, the prosecution saying it happened in a shed where cannabis was grown.
The second day into a 6-week murder trial, jurors poured through hundreds of photos of the alleged crime scene in Elderslie. Prosecution says Dwayne "Doc" Davies was shot in the head and killed at the property in May 2017. His body was discovered in a shallow grave in another location. Mr Davies' wife Margaret Ann Otto and best friend Bradley Scott Purkis have both been charged with his murder. Witness Constable Nick Monk today told the court 6 burnt shotgun cartridge ends were uncovered among the ashes in the property's fireplace. Along with a knife, jean studs and some coins. More ammunition and various items were found in the house, garage and shed. Prosecution has told the court the 2 accused were former lovers. Today the jury was read an affectionate note discovered at the Elderslie property, addressed to an unnamed woman and signed off with "Love, Brad." The court was taken through this scene in a video filmed by police. It showed investigators near blood in the small shed and them untaping boxes filled to the brim with bags of cannabis. The trial continues. Ruby Kamane, 7 Tasmania News.
Police have found a body believed to be that of missing 49-year-old Shane Keith Marshall in the state's northwest. An air and ground search located the remains in bushland near Elliot, south of Burnie, this morning. Mr Marshall had been missing for a week. Police say there are no suspicious circumstances. A report will be prepared for the coroner. Plans for another major hotel in Launceston are now in the hands of the City Council. The Fragrance Group hopes to build 5-star accommodation at the site of the Clarion Hotel, but the public will have to wait a while longer to see the detail.
The Clarion Hotel has long been in the sights of developers. Now high hopes of something new are a step closer.
The Fragrance have submitted a DA, which is now obviously for Council to work through, and we are wanting more information.
That information and what the hotel will look like is under wraps for now. The Council says it will be released as part of the normal process. The Singapore-based company has struggled to see past projects realised in Hobart, and it's had to revise its original 2016 plans for the Clarion.
The initial proposal was for something quite tall, which probably would have been out of character for Launceston. This proposal, as I understand, it's much more in keeping with the skyline in Launceston. It's certainly not taller than any other buildings in Launceston.
In June, Council has backed another luxury project, the 9-storey Gorge Hotel. The $50 million project by the JAC Group is now the subject of an appeal challenge. The Mayor says he's happy to see investment.
It means that people believe in the city, it means that people believe there's going to be tourism coming here.
The Fragrance Group was contacted for comment. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
The 9th annual Junction Arts Festival has kicked off in style at Launceston's Princess Square with opening night celebrations. We cross now live to reporter Letitia Wallace. Good evening, Letitia. What's the atmosphere like there?
Joe, there's plenty of excitement down here with organisers throwing a big party in the square tonight to kick things off. I spoke earlier with Liz Frankham, the festival president, and asked her what we can expect over the next few days.
Well, starting tonight we've got the big opening party, so we've got Bad Dad Orchestra and lots and lots of people having dance and fun. And then the next sort of 3 to 4 days we've got lots of colour and movement. Lots of bands, lots of art. We've got the night walk so people can walk around the outside of the square, and there's pop-ups in different buildings. We've got some fantastic music in St John's Church with 3 different people performing in that. We've got plays, we've got theatre, we've got DJs, we've got late night cabarets, so a bit of everything for everyone. And then Saturday and Sunday we've got the stuff happening in the Little Devil with the kids shows, which is always just absolutely fantastic. And then of course the big Tweed run with the bikes, which is an ever favourite on the Sunday morning.
What makes this event so special?
Well, I think it's probably because it's just we've chosen to stay in spring because it's the emerging, coming out of winter, out of hibernation. Everyone's a bit lighter. Everyone wants to sort of say, wow, it's just the beginning of sort of warmer weather, and today's the perfect example.
Tickets are selling fast, and with organisers expecting a big crowd, there's plenty on offer for everyone. The festival wraps up on Sunday. Joe?
It's looking pretty good down there. Thank you very much for that, Letitia. Welcome back. Tasmania's casino operator is fighting back against a $32,000 fine. Federal Group has taken the Liquor and Gaming Commission to court, seeking information about its decision to penalise Rest Point and the Country Club for ATM malfunctions. The machines are meant to be limited to withdrawals of $400 a day, but the court heard new machines exceeded that last November. Federal says it's planning to appeal the decision later this year. National advocates for a pill testing trial have arrived in Tasmania, lobbying the state's politicians to adopt the controversial initiative. Despite the state government already ruling out adopting a trial, Pill Testing Australia says it's hopeful its discussion with politicians will clear up any misconceptions.
Our first question to government is at least listen to us, and then before you make your mind up, have an open mind about it, because there is a lot of misunderstanding and misinformation out there about what our service does.
They're illicit for a reason. They are unsafe. I've always said though, and my colleagues share the view, that of course we are prepared to listen to people with different views of our own.
The group met with Labor and the Greens today, with advocates speaking with the Premier tomorrow. After spending years in footy's wilderness, Wynyard is hoping to cap off its most dominant decade of all time when its finals campaign begins this weekend. The club is going for its 4th flag since 2012, in a special anniversary year for the club.
In 134 years of the Wynyard Footy Club, it's never been a better time to be a Cat. A breakthrough premiership in 2012, followed by flags in 2014 and 15, makes this decade the best in the club's history. Now the side's in the box seat again after finishing on top of the North West Football League ladder.
It's just like a second family, as you can say. Like, it's pretty cliche, but that's what it feels like, and that's why so many people stick around.
Zach Smith's seen the highs and the lows, being involved in all three recent flags, along with his fair share of beltings in the 2000s.
I think I won about 20 of my first 100 games or something like that, and copped a few hidings, but yeah, the last decade's been really good.
Like any leader, he's coy about daring to dream of another title, but there's no denying success builds team spirit, while playing stocks were boosted this year when around half a dozen players jumped ship from Smithton.
Our supporters have had a pretty tough run over the last few decades, but now we've hit a really good patch, hoping for a really good result in 2019.
The Cats' other purple patch was back in the 70s.
Lester Robinson, a nice handball out towards Flint. Flint onto the left foot, down towards full forward. Maguire's there, he's in front, and his first mark of the day, Maguire.
There's still an aura around Wynyard's champion side of 79, which recently held its 40-year reunion. It was the club's last to taste success until the drought finally ended in 2012.
There's a guy, Glenn Abden, he's a trainer there. He played in the 79 flag, and he's still around now, so, and the boys love him, so to win them for him, it's been great.
Wynyard hosts Devonport on Saturday for a spot in the decider, while Burnie plays Ulverston in the elimination final. Tom Johnson, 7 Tasmania News.
A Tasmanian pensioner has been left heartbroken and distressed after her car was torched in Mayfield. The 67-year-old, who wants to remain anonymous, was out for dinner on Monday night when she received a call from police saying her car was on fire.
Gut-wrenched, yeah, shocked. It's a big burden because I don't live in Launceston and I do have hospital appointments next week. I've actually got to have surgery on Tuesday, and this is a lot of inconvenience.
The vehicle received serious damage to the front panels. Anyone with information should contact Crime Stoppers. Tasmania's Uni Review is back for its 72nd year, with the popular sketch comedy premiering in Launceston tonight. Locals are in for a good laugh, with the annual review capturing the best of politics and pop culture. This year's show has a strong Lion King
actually
theme.
Quite easy to match some of our politicians with some of the particular characters from The Lion King, and then we've had the recent live action re-release as well, so we've kind of been able to piggyback off the success of that, and some of the songs are fantastic as well.
The show kicks off at the Princess Theatre tonight for 4 nights before heading south to Hobart for 11 shows from September 10.
Back home, but still on footy, and the TSL and TSLW's most impressive talent have been rewarded for standout seasons, with the competition's Teams of the Year announced today. And it's no surprise that the finals contenders make up the bulk of the lists.
Jam-packed with Tasmanian talent, it's many of the usual suspects in the squad, with North Launceston and Glenorchy boasting 5 players each, Lauderdale and Launceston represented with 4 apiece, while Kingborough, Clarence and North Hobart fill out the remaining 4 spots.
Trained from November all the way through to now, and then at the end of the year to get like a recognition like this, I guess. You don't really expect it, but when it does happen, yeah, it's pretty good.
Captained by the competition's Player of the Year and Brad Cox-Goodyear, with Lauderdale defender Josh McGuinness given the vice-skipper honours. Those names say it's a squad that could potentially match it with the Victorians as the state strives towards securing a VFL licence.
If you were to get a VFL side, you would probably need to get a few more back from the mainland, I reckon, to make it really competitive and really push for a strong, deep finals case. But we've definitely got enough talent there to mix it with some of the sides over in the mainland.
There's a lot of talent in the state, so if we keep developing it, then I don't see why not.
No surprises in the women's squad, with the undefeated Launceston boasting 7 representatives. North Launceston and Glenorchy's Jodie Clifford and Nayada Lynch rewarded for their leadership on the field this season, named captain and vice-captains.
I think I can speak on behalf of all the girls. There's been such a tough competition with 2 new sides coming into the league. But it's nice to know that all your hard work has paid off.
Pretty flattered, to be honest. There's so many girls that were eligible to get it but just missed out, so it's pretty hard to pick.
The competition's Coaches of the Year will be named at the State League Awards night next month.
Meanwhile, 2 TSL players have managed to avoid time on the sidelines following a heated qualifying final between Glenorchy and Lauderdale, with Bombers big man Sam Siggins escaping with a reprimand after pleading guilty for intentionally striking John Geard, while the independent tribunal concluded that Glenorchy's Sam Reeves had no case to answer for following this high contact on Lauderdale's Bryce Walsh, despite the MRP previously offering Reeves a 2-match suspension for the incident.
Good evening. A cold front with its associated cloud across the state today. Temperatures generally close to average. Hobart 17, the northern centres all 16. 19 was the high at Friendly Beaches. St Helens and Bushy Park hit 16. Smithton and the Islands all 15. Low Head and Strawn 14 degrees. Most of the cloud gathered over the west and southeast of Tasmania. Some convective cloud off the east coast. Best rainfall today 9 millimetres at Salvation Creek near Lake Gordon in the southwest. A second cold front has cloud moving over the Bight and upper jet streamers over northern Victoria and South Australia. Patchy cloud along Cape York as well. Tomorrow, the next low and cold front approaches the state. A high pressure ridge dominates the north of the nation, while cold fronts and low pressure zones and surface troughs dominate the southern part of the mainland. Winds tomorrow, west-northwesterly. They'll get up to 15 to 25 knots, reaching 30 knots over the southeast. A slackening will occur before a tendency to the east-northeast in the evening, with swells to 4 metres. Strong wind warning for waters between Wineglass Bay and southeast Cape. A frost warning for many forecast districts. A road weather alert applies to the Central Plateau, northwest, central north, Midlands and east coast. The forecast: Hobart, a partly cloudy 14. 14 the top also for Cygnet. Bit of cloud over New Norfolk and 15 degrees. Launceston, morning frost, a sunny afternoon, 16 the top, 13 for Devonport, 15 the high for Campbelltown after a coolish beginning, 13 the high for Burnie, a sunny day, partly cloudy for Strawn, 14 the top there, morning frost for Smithton, 13 the maximum later. 14 the high for St Helens, partly cloudy for Swansea on 15, 16 for Fingal. On to Friday, rain extending across the state, heavy falls over the north and Bass Strait, showers on Saturday but little over the central north, snow to 800 metres, and on Sunday more snow with a few showers, more so over the west. Sunny and 17 in Perth tomorrow, 17 as well in Adelaide but a shower there, showers on the way for Melbourne, sunny in Sydney and 22, and warm weather from Brisbane north. Clear in Hobart, 11 degrees, Launceston 12 at the moment, Devonport 11, a cold night tonight, Joe, and a fine partly cloudy day tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much for that, Murph. That's all from the team for now. Have a great evening. We'll see you a little later. Bye-bye.